Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Laura with Stitching with Laura. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's having a great Thursday. And as you can see, today we are working on Quaker Sampling 3. It says original design by Ellen Chester. This is absolutely stunning. I just absolutely love it. And I have gotten about, it's like, I wouldn't say, I'm a little over halfway on the first page. So the whole thing is cut. The pattern goes this way. So you have two of these to make this whole pattern. So I've gotten all this up to here. And this motif. I still have to do these on the bottom. And of course the alphabet. So that today we are going to be working on the letter E. Today is brought to you by the letter E. E, elephant. No, just kidding. Just joking, guys. Oh my gosh. I'm tired. I'm this, I'm that, you know. And then I've turned the fan around last night and it blew against my neck and my shoulder, so I'm a little stiff today, so we'll see how well this goes. By the way, this is done by with my needle, and I did get this off a 1, 2, 3 stitch, and it's done on a 14 count. I think it's Cafe Mocha, Country French Cafe Mocha from Winchlet, and so as you can see, it's a very soft fabric. And I like doing it in a hoop because it helps it get where it's got to be. For me, it's not something that I can do in hand. And I don't do much in-hand work these days because for me it's just harder. It's easier to do this. So, it's been a morning. I wanted to get up, but I didn't want to get up. You know, where it's nice and cool and all you want to do is lay there. And then I noticed that I was getting a crick in my neck. So I'm like, yep, I'm up. Gotta get up, gotta get moving, or else, you know, this is crap all happens when you're old. And I was watching, you've got to check this out. I mean, if anybody loves stitching, you've got to check this out. I was so not overwhelmed, it was just like, oh my gosh, people do this, and it's like, it must take them forever. You know, we think we do great things and just single cross stitch. Oh, hell no. This, it was on Fiber Talk, I believe it was last night, and Gary Parr went and interviewed two ladies in Sydney, Australia, where they're having a exposition, I can't say that word, of Italian needlework. It's like, oh, holy hell. No, it reminds me of Hardanger, like Gary said, but it's just on such a different level, and a level that in this girl's lifetime will never, ever, ever achieve. I just love looking at it, and you'll have to just check the video out that he did. It's on Fiber Talk. And it was just outstanding. You know, you just sit there and there's no words. There is no words. Of course, now you're talking about people who didn't have the internet and all the distractions that our world brings. That's all their lives. You know what I mean? That, oh, okay, they stitch. Yes, that was their thing to do. That was their, yeah, yeah, to check it out. Very, very interesting on the history of Italian needlework and the way it looks, and just, you get another view of the world and all the things that there are that are connected with needlework, and how women over the world, all over the world, do different kinds of needlework. You know, it's not something, well, for me, and am I thinking, call me naive, but you can't replicate that. I mean, on a machine, if you could, you would be like a mastermind at machines, because it's just nothing, to me, replaces the work that a hand can do, and the fine and the details, and it was just totally amazing for me to watch. I sat there fascinated. It's like an hour-long video, but it was so well worth my time to watch, and, yeah, just beautiful stuff. So I started working on this last night. Not last night, well, maybe before I went to work, to see where I was at, and, what I wanted to stitch on this. But I wanted to get this alphabet done, and, I really don't care for alphabets. This one isn't too bad. It's not too deeply stitched, and intricate. So I just want to get, where am I at? I have to get to get this H done, so that I can come down here and start this section that goes over the swan over here. So I call it a swan. It's a duck. It's a swan. I don't know what it is. It's just beautiful. I just love all the little motifs and things that go on. I'm trying to finish like one page. Does that make sense? Yeah. It's a moment, but there's still bunches to do. But if I just take it one, thing at a time, then we're good. So that's what I've been doing since I got up this morning, was watching that video. And it was just fascinating. Just absolutely fascinating. And the ladies that, one of them I believe was the curator, can't say that word this morning, curators of the museum there. And the other lady is like, let's call her an expert in Italian needlework, shall we say. And there's one that stood out to me that I thought that maybe it might be like the only one of those that I could ever work on. And I don't know what the name of it is, but it's the one where, let's say if you wanted an E, you would do all the stitches on the outside, and then all that would be left would be the E. But it will be the fabric that's left after you've stitched all the way around it. Oh, and there's a name for it, but I don't know. It's just absolutely stunning. Stunning stuff. But it's primarily, I mean, that I saw, cross stitch. But it's like open cross stitch. So this, you would do all the background, and then you'd have the fabric showing up of just these petals and the few little extra stitches. I've always been fascinated. I saw that in another book somewhere, and it was a gorgeous piece, of course. And it's like full coverage, if you will. I don't know how to explain it, but it's in the beginning of this video. And I've seen it in books before. I had a book, I don't have it right now. I mean, I have the book, it's somewhere in my house. But it shows an example of that kind of Italian work. But I'm sure it has a really fancy Italian name to it. But, yeah. So, onward. We're doing this. Yes, we can handle this. This is within our realm. All I have to do is cross stitch. And I think that's what drew me to that Italian piece, was that it was all cross stitch, but yet you're making a pattern, you know, elsewhere. It's just, yeah. I'm still like in stitchy heaven there. Just looking at all, and it more there's, I mean, it looks like lace work, if you will, and hardanger, and that kind of, I have to see where I'm at. I've really got to get rid of this thread because it's short. Let me do that, and then I will come right back and stitch. So, yeah, I mean, there are just so many skill levels. I mean, I think that's what fascinates me. And so many different types of needlework that sometimes, I guess, you just don't realize exist because you're not around it. We're in America, and they might not do that there. Or, you know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. It's insane. Insane, people. And she was saying that some of these things were done by children. You know, when she was a young girl, she did this. She made a bedspread. You know, I was like, what the hell? I mean, when I was like 7 or 8 years old, I mean, you were lucky if you could get me to sit down. I think that's why my mother decided I needed to do cross stitch. And do just cross stitch, you know, let alone wrapped this or that, you know. But I mean, it's all in what you learn and all in what you are surrounded by in your life. Oh, well, that's interesting. I'd like to learn, just like cross stitch, I'd like to learn how to do that, you know. You see your parents or basically your mothers or your grandmothers working on it, and it looks interesting. It looks like something, you know, you would do. So I'm assuming that things are the same way in other parts of the world. So, you know, it's all that they knew. You know, they didn't know just draw and stitch, or they didn't know this or that. They were taught that at a very, very young age, and it just blows me away. But like I said, they didn't have, oops, shoot, if I didn't lose that needle. Well, oh no, I didn't, it's still there. Hello. It just went vertical. I thought, how did that get off of there and past the thread? Jeez. So, yeah, it's amazing. Take a look. If you got an hour to spare, it's well worth the time to see what goes on in other places. They were even talking about macrame. I want to say, oh, she called it something else. But it's like macrame pronounced differently, if that makes any kind of sense. I have to make sure where I'm at here. So, yeah. And did you know macrame came from the Turkish parts of the world? You know, I did macrame in the 70s like everybody else. We macrameed everything. Everything was cut, we're doing that. But they use macrame in like, oh, what do you call it? Like table scarves and stuff, but on a very, very small, what do you call it, space. Like the macrame things aren't any bigger and wider than this, but they are, whoops, sorry, I got to get back in frame. You know, it's just, it blows you away. It gives you a moment. So, I'm sorry. I'm just chattering on and on about stitching and stuff like that. I mean, I just enjoy seeing other types of stitching. Not that it drives me to want to engage in that kind of thing. I think that, I don't know, like needlepoint and stuff. See, the only needlepoint I knew was done with yarn. And you did it in school or whatever, in the 70s, and you just covered like one square, you know, like, so the whole thing looked like that, you know. That's all, the only needlework. Oh, I saw the Brigello back then. I went, nah, don't think so. So, but it's just beautiful stuff. So, broaden your horizons, guys, and go see something new. Because it was fascinating. And it was even fascinating when Gary and Vanna went to Nashville, and they stopped in at one of the, people had rooms, at Nashville Market. And there was one lady, and all her stuff was white work of some variety, because I couldn't even begin. I'm not an authority. I'm sure some of it was hard hanger and some of it was something else, but I call it white work. And I even have a YouTuber that I subscribe to who does nothing but white work. And so there's just fascinating different kinds of needlework out there. I mean, not that we all need something else to work on. It's just nice to look at something different for a change, I have to see where I'm at. I went all the way down there. And then it's like, okay, now what do I do? So it's different, and it's eye-opening, shall we say, to different things, and heck, it might strike your fancy to do that, but I feel like I have no patience for that, where you have to cut the fabric and the threads and pull the threads, and no, that thing would be in a knot in about 5 minutes. I'd just tell them all to take it, and I'm going back to my needlework. But it's fun to look at. Just fun to look at. So I got to go to work today. I work 11 to 6 again. Yesterday it wasn't too bad. It kind of just moved along. Now today is Thursday, so it'll be starting to get a little bit more busy. And then Friday, of course, will be like a free-for-all, as usual. Just an absolute free-for-all. It's just unbelievable. This is so relaxing. I was hoping that this would be so... Molly says hi. So relaxing that it'd get the crick out of my neck. So, and it's not hurting to sit here, so we're just kind of going along. And see, these letters are fairly big. They must be 2 inches. Where's my little... I got my handy-dandy thingamabob. So they're about 7/8, nope, 3/4 of an inch. Let me put it on the one where you can actually. So it's pretty close to an inch size of letters. So I figured if I could knock a few of those out. I got 2 more to go until I get to that edge, and then I'll have it all done, But I still got to come back down under this swan. I can't get it to lay flat because it's in this thing. But there's some that runs, let me see if I can come over it. There we go. Underneath, this is the swan. Here. So, yeah, we got a few moments. But it goes, each little motif. Now, this took me a long time. Not a long time, but you know what I mean. I didn't work on it daily. But, yeah. It's getting there. But I like working on this red work. I think the red works in the solid... Is that monochromatic? Single? Yeah, mono means single. Chromatic ones. I enjoy working on the best. I like to see the ones that are in several colors, like, come to life, shall we? I have to see where I gotta go. Sorry, guys. I'm looking at this pattern, and it's kind of small, but it'll do. It's better when I'm working with it clipped here, I can follow it a whole lot easier. But it'll work. It'll work. Sure uses a lot of thread when I'm using 14 count. Instead of 16 count, I can make that thread go forever. I gotta see how many I gotta have from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oops, I gotta turn it a little just so that I can get a... I hate when it gets this far over, but I'm not gonna... Nope, it's not gonna work for me. It's too far to hang on to and try to do the stitches. See, I can use 2 hands, but I really don't like to. That's how that works for me. It feels awkward, but I don't do it that often. Just every once in a while if I have to go around a corner. So I'm not real adverse in it. I've watched Vanna Pfeiffer stitch and she just goes up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. It's like, yeah, not happening. Do you see what I mean? It takes a moment. It's like I'm not coordinated enough to do this. I'm trying to keep this edge out of the way so I don't sew it down. Well, I finished watching, what is it? Marco Polo last night. Hang on, I'm about to lose my thread. So, we'll see if I can stitch on top. Sometimes it's easier. I put my finger underneath to push the thread. Excuse me, the material down. Choked on my own spit there. So, yeah. At least tomorrow, I get to go to work go to work at 9 and get off at 3:30. So the Friday and Saturday's videos will be afternoon videos, if that'll be okay. And then the other 2 days they'll be, you know, like Wednesday and Thursday. I'll try to get them out before I go to work. How many? I've lost track. 1, 2, 3, 6, 8. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 2 more. And it's nice and easy to see, you know, for those of us that just cannot see the holes sometimes. Like, heaven forbid I use any other kind of material. I don't know if I'm gonna get rid of this thread. Hang on, guys. Whoops. God, don't lose the needle. Hang on. We're getting there. It'll be easier. Get rid of this. Oh, crap. Seriously. Oh, never fear, we got 5 pairs of needles, or 5 pairs of scissors up here. But as you can see, it's coming. Alright. Yep, I do like this hoop stand. It works perfect for me. It's a smaller scale. I can't deal with that great big huge thing. I have 2 huge scroll frames. Do I use them? I don't. It's just too hard. You have to stretch too far. Does that make any kind of sense? Get rid of that. For me and my bad shoulders. So this works just absolutely perfectly. Now, I've never had a small little lap stand, if you will. You know what I mean? Where, you know, Stitcherista uses one. And she can do not very wide. Oh, crap. Really? Wide pieces. On this thing that sits in her lap. Seriously? Are you kidding me? There we go. Yeah, these are those DMC. I'm surprised this has lasted as long as it did. So I usually have a problem with the DMC breaking. Okay, let me count this one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. I thought I needed one more. Yep. I forgot what I said. Jeez Louise. Too much boggling my mind today. But oh, we were talking about the lap stand thing. You know, it's probably no wider than, we're going to give it 14 inches, maybe, across. But it just kind of rounds on the bottom like a loop, like a rocking chair, if you will. And, it's still a small scroll frame. But see, then again, I can't do my sewing method, which I love so much. Okay, make sure I was going to do that right. Yeah. I know, I'm trying to get through here. So we get a few letters done here, and a few letters done there. And then we'll have the whole alphabet. Heck, we're already up to F. Huh. Jeez, who knew? Because I really, basically, as you can see, started and just did like ABC and then went down because I didn't want to have to work on that stuff. Okay, this is going to be a moment. Hang on, I got to count. 1, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5. Normally I wouldn't travel that far, but I am. Oh well. They'll just have to get over it. Alright. Gotta make the crossbar on the F. And then we'll have it finished. When it gets this far over, I find it hard to do the sewing method. I should really have moved it, but I didn't. I just kept it in the hoop. Telling me 3. Thank you. One more stitch after this. Sometimes it works out, and sometimes not so much. Now, this fabric gives a lot better than most, so it's real easy to work with. Alright, let me see if I can get that down there and then get the needle out of if I can just get it in the hole. Alright, so we got that done, and see, it comes undone. This is a horrible hoop, but it'll work. Tighten it up a little bit more. I didn't get it too tight because then I can't do my sewing method. Alright guys, well, I think that is going to be it for today. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. And please hit the bell, and that way you'll know when my next video comes out. Y'all have a good rest of your Thursday. I had to think about what day it was. A good rest of your Thursday and a good rest of your week. God bless. Bye-bye. Stay safe.